This video is supported in part by Tommy and the Order of Cosmic Champions. If you enjoy the never-ending story and Masters of the Universe, this new novel coming fall 2022 is right up your alley.
Last week, after more than 24 months of zilch, My Arcade finally dropped some brand new product in their tabletop and handheld arcade toy line. And while much of the software in this new wave is a rehash of stuff we've already seen before, it's the new form factors that I'm most interested in. I took a look at the Pico the other day, and in this video, we're gonna take a look at the brand new Nano Player. Hey there, welcome back to GenXGrownUp. I am John. Thank you so much for the click. If you've been following along, you saw the Pico player. It's an even smaller version of these little tabletop players, and it had a few problems. It had some screen tearing issues, it had some pixel compression issues that yielded me unable to find a baseball. It was hit out to right field. But I'm really curious to find out whether this Nano Player that comes in about $5 more at $25, whether or not it addresses any of those issues or whether it's more of the same. This particular one is a Data East collection that reminds me a lot of the Pixel Player that came out a few years ago. I would show you the Pixel Player, but I threw it away because it was horrible. So I'm a bit cautious that will they repeat those problems with this Data East Nano Player? I don't know, but I do know how to find out.
Welcome to the table, little Nano Player, similar to the Pico Player before it, very similar box. We have a clear case, little shell here. You can see some artwork from the Data East titles that are included. Once again, this is a 200 plus in one, which we know actually means some Data East titles plus 200 of those games, I'll use games in quotes, that we know about. Just like with the Pico though, the box borrows that pocket player design with a magnetic latch on the back that pops open and shows you many of the featured highlights of this unit. And verified here, yep, 8 licensed Data East titles plus the 200 bonus ones, the 2.4-inch color screen, so a little larger than the Pico. Power options include 4 AAA batteries, or you can power it with USB, and it's USB-C this time around, finally! And again, there's that shot of somebody shoving it into a backpack, a little bit bigger than the Pico, but still probably fit right in your bag. Enough of the container though, let's get to the contents. As expected, inside we have our Nano Player, then we have the flyer that shows coming items that it's from 2 years ago, that's garbage, and then we have a Nano Player instruction manual, which we have learned is just how to put in batteries in a whole bunch of languages, so again, that one is garbage. Now because this is a new size and shape, I like to compare it to a known commodity, so here I have the pole position Tiny Arcade from Super Impulse. It's one that we're all, I think, very familiar with. Unlike the Pico Player, where they're pretty much the same height, you can see the Nano Player substantially taller. You turn it on its side, you can see how much taller it is. Now, of course, all of that comes into play where you have a larger screen, you have a larger control deck, more real estate to work with, and of course, quite a bit wider to accommodate that extra screen and control deck. Now, of course, I'm mostly curious about how the screen looks, how the controls feel, how does it play. We're going to get to that in just a second. Real quick tour of the unit first. A little more real estate down here. So we do have on the kick plate a little simulated coin door on a sticker. Both sides sport this vibrant Data East collage of characters. And then around back, we have all the business. We have a single speaker. And here we have the USB charging port that I mentioned. And like the Pico, the design here allows for you to pass either a lanyard or a wrist strap or something through the back to hang it from your wrist, but that's, with the size of these, that's getting increasingly unlikely that you'll really want to do that. 4 AAA batteries if you like to power it with batteries, and then we have a power on-off switch and a volume up-down buttons. And then I want to talk about this control deck, even more so than the Pico. These buttons feel to be almost exactly like the ones that were in the Pocket Player. And the joystick, while it looks identical, is not the same as the Pico Player. It's a little bit taller, and it has a little more throw to it, actually. I feel like you can lean a little easier and a little farther. Yeah, there's a lot more going on here. So all of that has me intrigued. Time to spin it around, unscrew this door, put some batteries in, and give it a try. Yeah, okay, straight open to the menu. And yeah, 208 in one, as we know. There are the 8 Data East titles, in fact. You got BurgerTime, Bad Dudes, Breakthru, Caveman Ninja, Heavy Barrel, Side Pocket Big Wings, and Karate Champ. And then you get right into the shovelware, all the kind of rando games. All right, we'll take a look at some of those in a second. First, let's take a quick look. Let's crank the volume up. So that's full volume. You can bring it all the way down to 0 if you want. I think we know that these are NES titles, which, disappointing, we've seen all this before, but let's take a look at how it plays and give it a shot. So, lay it on me, BurgerTime. Ooh, audio's kind of choppy. Yeah, the same little problem I recall in the previous one where it's kind of unforgiving on a small joystick like this to make sure you actually make the turns you need to make. Yeah, we squished some pickles and guys. Yeah, sausages. I mean, BurgerTime is a great one. The controls are definitely okay. The joystick does feel better, most certainly, than the Pico player. Which is not saying a ton, but I mean, get the ladder. I can't even get up the ladder. But you know, as I die, I'm saying the controls are good. But the controls actually do feel pretty good. The button is very, almost clicky. It doesn't have a click feed to it, but you can feel it bottom out. I think we know Bad Dudes. We'll give that a shot. It's NES Bad Dudes. You know what to expect. I will say, the display on the screen does look better than I remember on that Pico player. Now, maybe I should do a side-by-side in the near future here. But, you know, we're having that kind of crushed missing pixels on the Pico player, and I'm not noticing that here. Check out some Breakthru. I don't know Breakthru very well, but we'll take a quick look at it. Yep, it's an NES Breakthru. Not an arcade game that I recall. Maybe it is. Kind of looks like Moon Patrol a little bit. It looks like I can shoot and jump with some landmines. This, okay, for a game I don't know very well, this actually plays pretty well. Like, I get this right away. Yeah, a little shoot, little jump. Reminds me of Moon Patrol a tiny bit. Caveman Ninja. There's our Caveman Ninja. Alright, let's get after it. 3 lives left. Yeah, little platformer guy. Almost reminds me of a Karnov arcade title a little bit whenever I see this. You can throw and you can run and jump. I mean, it's no curly monkeys, but so you have a health meter, a little forgiveness, that's great. Looks and plays well, okay. Heavy barrel. I remember this one being a little bit difficult to control on that Pixel player. Let's jump into it. There was in fact lag on that Pixel player. Let's see how it goes here. Not the case here. I mean, controls are tight. I think I'm fond of this joystick and these buttons. I mean, it's really not bad. I mean, you don't have the ideal, you know, the heavy barrel controls that you'd want from the arcade, but barring that, this is a pretty decent controller and buttons. But see, I would actually play this. I could not play heavy barrel on that Pixel player, but on this, I could totally get into this. Moving on to side pocket. Look, it's pool. Sure, we'll give it a shot. And there's not much to see here. You know what else I'm not noticing is the tearing that we saw on the Pico. When the screen changes from scene to scene, I'm not seeing that tear, which is, I appreciate right away. What a difference $5 makes. Holy moly. There's a couple more of these. We got B-Wings, another Data East NES ROM, of course. Let's get shooting. This one always reminds me just a little bit of like a 1942. It's a top-down scrolling shooter. So, oh, there's a lot more going on here. Not a game I'm intimately familiar with, not being an NES guy, but I mean, controls well. The screen is pretty vibrant. A lot of the complaints I had with the Pico player, honestly, have been addressed here with this Nano Player. Okay. And Karate Champ. Oh. Oh, ouch, he got me. My Karate Champ skills are rusty. Haha, gotcha. Get down, red guy. Ah, turned around. That was a bad idea. Bad plan. Yeah, and Karate Champ. I mean, it's everything you want out of Karate Champ. The controls are tight. Can't complain too much. Oh, I'm down. And then because they're here, we've got to look at some of the shovelware on here. Oh, there's our Curly Monkeys. Maybe it's Curly Monkey 2? I don't know. Curly Monkeys. I'm going to call it Curly Monkeys. You know what? I promised viewer G.A. Roger Cade that I would take a look at Outrun, because I didn't on the Pico player. So let's take a look and see if this is even close to the arcade Outrun. I don't see a car. All right. Oh my God, is it Frogger? Why do you call it Outrun when it's... Where am I? Oh, it's a top-down Frogger. Look, I'm way up top there. I've got to work my way down is the deal. Oh, not like that. Yeah, plenty more going on. Teleport, runner car. I love the most generic climbing. Like, I just find those titles fascinating. Oh, get shot with an arrow also, apparently. Climbing. Climbing, climbing, climbing. Triple climbing. I mean, since you have no instructions, I'll just climb until I can't climb anymore, I guess. Don't get hit by lightning, maybe? Okay, climbing. Should have a couple hundred of these. Let's hop over, see what else we got. Music moment. Nutcracky. What's up with Nutcracky? You're a nutcracker. Appropriately enough. Save the princess. Where have we seen that before? There's me. I'm a little soldier. All right, Nutcracky. Dice, dominoes, Dome War, 5 days, free sell. Okay, this is, what we got? Highway Ride. Oh, we're past 100 now. Magic Joni. You know Magic Joni's got to be good. And there's Magic Joni, as promised. Nutrition, sucked by the huge monsters. Okay, let me play the game. Yes, there's a story. I mean, there's a lot on here, but is it worth reading? Ah, I have a killer plant, I guess? What is that? Whoa! Yeah, there's Cowpoke Contest, Crazy Eights, Gin Rummy, some card games in here. Oh, we see, hooray, mowing. Oh, this is a different mowing. A different mowing game. What a variety. This is not lawn mowing. This is just mowing. Is this a sequel? Is this the original? I don't know. If it is, it's more lawn mowing. At least more is happening in this one. Okay, mowing. In the 150s, you got, oh, some Texas Hold'em, Toad in the Hole, Antiquarium, Bubble, Bugbear. What's the last one we get? Warrior Lemon? I think that says Warrior Lemon. It does say Warrior Lemon. And there's me. It's a maze game. And I can shoot, apparently. I mean, maybe the most entertaining thing about these weird little shovelware games is figuring out what the heck they are. And just kind of enjoying them for the laugh that they are. That's kind of how I feel about it.
The software package notwithstanding, this Nano Player that clocks in at just an inch taller and $5 more, I think delivers much more on the promise that I was expecting from this new smaller line of little gadgets. And I'll start here with something that was my biggest complaint about the Pico player, and that was how the screen was implemented. That was a 2-inch screen, this is just 2.4 inches. However, what I don't see here is any of that crazy pixel crushing or compression or loss of pixels that I saw in the Pico player. It made some games unplayable, or at the very least, a pain to look at, because many of the logos and sprites were actually missing some pixels. The controls over on the Pico were fine, and I actually expected with these two units being so similar in size, they would have all the same internals. But the controls here are substantially better. The stick is taller, the buttons feel better, you can feel them bottom out when you press them. I found controls with this unit to be superior to the Pico. Maybe it's just kind of my imagination because they look a little bit different and it's a little bit larger, but it definitely felt better to me. Your mileage may vary, so you should give it a try and see what you think. Now, it's not all rosy. While I didn't see any of that screen tearing or pixel crushing from the Pico, what I did notice here was, to my eye, a substantially lower frame rate than I would hope to see for any kind of emulation, NES in this case. It almost looked like it was sub 30, could have been 15 or 20. I think it was most noticeable to me in B-Wings when there's so much going on, the bullets are flying and all the things moving around on the screen. It felt like a little bit of a fast-paced slideshow, where in reality you want it to be nice and buttery smooth. Maybe that's a limitation of the hardware they've got inside doing the emulation. Maybe it's locked at a lower frame rate. I personally would like to see a little bit higher frame rate. Now, this doesn't make the games unplayable at all. They were perfectly playable, but it's something that kind of jumped out at me that I thought was worth mentioning. So what about this little Nano Player? Now, maybe it's a case of you get what you pay for, but just for a little bit more money, I found that the experience here across the board, every category was a little bit better than the Pico Player. Not monumental, not life-changing, but a little bit better. And of course, I'm not even talking about the fact that we have double the bonus games. I mean, how many mowings and climbings and nutcrackers do I really need in a game along with these Data East hits? Probably not many of them, but I'm gonna say, based on what we've seen here, I'm gonna award this Nano Player of Data East hits 3 full tokens out of 5. Now, maybe if this first one that hit my table had a software package that wasn't retreads of something we've seen before, it might score a little bit higher. For the price, this Nano Player has me even more excited for the future potential of what my arcade could deliver with new software in these new little models. Just in case you missed my Pico Player review and like a comparison, I'll throw a link right up there in the corner. And since 80% or more of our viewers aren't subscribers, if you made it this far and didn't hate what you saw, maybe give us a subscribe. I would certainly appreciate it. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.